Passive consumption is what I want to talk a bit about. It means you are at the will of a machine and it's telling you what to do. I've watched this documentary the other day on Netflix called Social Dilemma. Welcome to Unfiltered Creativity.
I'm Shri.
I am Monima.
And we are both on a journey to live a more creative life.
We are so excited and grateful to have you all along this ride.
This is an open space to have dialogues about productivity, mindfulness, art, music, personal growth, entrepreneurship, and many, many more.
All right, so today we have a very important and interesting topic, social media. Yep, we all know what social media is by definition, I'm sure. Basically sharing your ideas, thoughts, photos, memories, and information through building networks and communities, right? The average daily usage of social media by a person is 145 minutes.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That does sound about right, though.
So, we'll be discussing about social media in today's episode, how to find authenticity, what is its impact on us, both for consumers and also creators like us, and how to effectively channel the creativity on a platform. Oh, there's a lot going on here in this episode.
There is a lot to talk about, and I'm excited to learn from you actually, because you have a lot more experience with social media than I do.
So, Srinidhi, let's start with you.
Okay.
I've seen that you've started being on social media or started your Instagram page, Shree's Arts, recently, and you're doing pretty well. Do you want to share about how it changed anything for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've actually had my Shree's Arts page for a couple of years, but it was really a personal place for me to kind of dump whatever creative project I was working on at the time. But over the past year, I've really, I have really grown my audience, and it's been a complete game changer for me. I think through social media, I've been able to meet so many like-minded people. I mean, you, other creators, people who have really inspired me in a big way. I've been connected with clients, and now I sell worldwide, and it's just been a very crazy transformation. And I do owe a lot of that to social media and just the ability that I have as a small business sitting out of my condo in Mississauga to just increase my reach to so many different people. And I think there is a lot of power in having social media as an entrepreneur in this day and age. And for me, it's been really, really, transformational.
I agree with each and every point you've said. I think social media has taken the world by storm. Initially, social media was just to connect with friends and family who were away. I remember the first social media website I was on. It's Orkut. Did you use Orkut?
I've heard of it as an Indian thing.
Okay.
But no, I did not use Orkut. I think my first was MySpace.
MySpace? I haven't heard about it.
Oh no, okay.
So I had like this designated time for myself to be on Facebook or Orkut, and it was just 20 minutes in the evening, and it was on my desktop. I did not have a smartphone back then, and there were no apps as such. But now these apps have come and they have disrupted my life in a positive way, mostly.
One thing I really appreciate about your social media is you seem to be very authentic. And it really comes across in your content. I think it's very clear who you are and how you are as a person. And I actually met you first without really looking at your social media. And I saw your social media after, and that connection was very fluid. You are who you are everywhere you go. And I think that's not a thing you often see on social media. So how do you maintain that authenticity?
I think it's really tricky to maintain someone's social media presence real while positively representing your image or brand in an interesting and engaging way. I think being honest and candid always worked for me. I used to post a lot of savage and sarcastic content, especially on my stories with my sister and mom. You also do.
I do that as well, yeah, because I feel like my sister's my biggest critic, and I always share her content as savage Sneha, and people do like that kind of content. It's true. I think people are looking for that relatability.
Exactly. My DMs are flooded more when I post a story with my mom than the usual. Love using my own voice regarding the topics I'm very passionate about. Like I call out stuff which is misogynistic usually, or which is going against body positivity or feminism. I advocate a lot about mental health and its importance, and I guess using your own voice for serious topics like these is extremely crucial. Your audience should know what your values are.
And I think I mean, influencers and creators like you definitely include that as a part of their brand. And I think it's, you go to certain places for that type of content, right? For me, it's a little bit more challenging for me to find a place to do that, because I'm focused so much on building my Instagram as a business outlet. It shows them that you care in a way.
Yes.
And I think that's really empowering.
I posted a picture with my therapist on my social media, and my DM was flooded. So you never know who you're motivating. You don't know how you're making difference to them. So I think it is a platform to bring a positive change. That's how I look at it. What about you? How you find authenticity on your social media?
Yeah, it's an interesting conundrum. I'm still learning about social media and growing it from something that's very personal and family to something that's a lot bigger. And the kind of focus of my social media is my creative business, my art business. But one thing that I'm realizing, as I do research into social media and figure out what's working, is that it is so important for individuals and businesses who are looking for a reach to be on social media. And people like to, engage with and shop from brands where they recognize the owner. They know the backstory. They know the work that goes into the paintings that were created. They want to know, what music were you listening to when you created it? How did you package it? Like, all of those things almost create an experience for the customer buying that product, which is replacing, I think, in some ways, the store experience. So I am trying to be authentic in a sense of, the challenges of productivity. I think one of my outlets, for finding that authentic voice is through this podcast, where we can talk about some of these topics that are important to us. And I'm also trying to be authentic about how slow the art process is. One of the challenges that I have as an authentic creator is it's so easy to get caught up in that algorithm of wanting to have to post every day.
Yeah.
And I think allowing myself to say, it's okay, I can take a step back, or I'm on vacation, let me just schedule some posts and not worry about it. And things like that are helping me a little bit. But it is hard. It's very hard for me to stay on the track, and art is a slow process. Social media runs a mile a minute.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely a challenge I'm kind of working through right now. And the validation is intoxicating.
Yes.
I'm sure you've experienced this, and I'm experiencing this with my very small audience, but I'm getting DMs from strangers who are validating my art, or validating my posts or my stories or my content, or funny things I post about my family. And that is really intoxicating, and it's easy to want to almost fall into that trap. Oh, like, if I post this, I'm going to get more validation. And it does take it takes me a lot of mindfulness to be like, no, keep posting about who you are, and let the validation come. If it comes, if it doesn't matter, right? So
let it be natural.
So yeah, I don't know, like, have you found that you've gotten into like a validation loop?
Yeah.
Where you're posting, has that ever impacted you in any way?
I'm sure I did experience this, and I have fallen prey for this loop. So what I do now is, whenever I post, leave my phone and go to sleep. I usually post during the night time. Just post and forget about it. I mean, I was that kind of a person who kept checking for comments and deleting the negative comments when I see one on the YouTube or on my Instagram. But now I just don't care. I reply saying, yes, so what? Not take personally, not let it affect you, and show them that, dude, you're not affecting me. Your comment is not affecting me. Please get away.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that yet. I'm very, very new, and I can't imagine how difficult that must be, right? Because I think a big part of being authentic, whether it's on social media and in life, is kind of coming from a place of knowing who you are. And negative comments can really shake that sense when you feel confident in who you are, and you don't get the validation. It's very challenging. And we're talking about strangers, if you think about it. People
Yeah.
behind a computer screen, who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah. So Manima, you mentioned earlier that you were able to post something on social media and then keep your phone away and forget about it. I
Yeah.
am impressed. I have a lot to learn. But have you had any experiences with overconsumption? Because I do continuously fight to not have overconsumption. And I was wondering what your experience was.
At one point, I had 10 hours of screen time every day on my phone, and majority of the pie chart, the consumption chart, was social media.
Wow.
That to Instagram. So it killed my time, it killed my productivity, of course, and made me a passive consumer. Or you can also call addict. Yeah, you can call me an addict.
Yeah. It's funny with social media because it's so easy to justify, right? Like,
Yeah.
I do this with myself. I'm like, no, I need to be on social media. It's my business.
Oh my God,
And
yes.
I'm like, but do I really need to be scrolling for an hour on TikTok for my business? No, I don't. Yeah.
Exactly. So that constant, meaningless and endless scrolling, I had suffered with that. And at one point I had to brutally control myself in the name of social media detox. Passive consumption is what I want to talk a bit about. It means you are at the will of a machine and it's telling you what to do. I've watched this documentary the other day on Netflix called Social Dilemma. The algorithm basically designs a format for you, and that is basically making you stay on social media. So it was an eye-opener for me.
Learn about that.
Yeah.
And I read this article that even in Silicon Valley, where all of these things are being created, the hub,
Yes.
they are not allowing social media in schools, and they're not allowing Wi-Fi in schools. And it's almost like they know it's addicting, and they're protecting their kids.
Awesome.
And
Okay.
we are not doing that, because we have fallen prey almost to
Yeah.
what they have created for us, which is really quite addicting.
Yeah. A few ways I've cultivated for myself to keep this under control. Number one is turning off the Instagram notifications, or any notifications for that matter. No notifications are popping on my phone.
I am going to do that right after we record this podcast. I'm going to turn it off. That's a really, really good hack.
Yeah, and I also unfollowed a lot of accounts on social media that do not add value to me.
Yeah, this has definitely helped me as well. I think one thing that has really changed the social media game for me is to be very mindful of exactly what I'm consuming and to consume content that will actually kind of enhance my life, right? So, for example, if I want to be a better eater, a healthier eater, I try to follow plant-based, healthy channels,
Yeah.
with colorful plates. And it's basically like I am going to be consuming on social media. That will be a part of my day. And I might reduce the amount of time I spend on there. But like you said, like if I can find quality content that actually does inspire me, that's a great way for me to scroll, because I am learning things from it. On TikTok especially, another very addictive place to scroll. I know you don't have it.
I don't have it.
I don't like posting on TikTok, but I love consuming content on TikTok.
Okay.
But there's a lot of really great, hacks for small businesses, especially Canadian small businesses. So I've learned a lot through TikTok because I'm very mindful about the type of content that I'm allowing myself to consume. So I only follow content on TikTok, and there I don't have the obligation of friends and family and colleagues. So I'm exclusively following content where I will learn, and that helps me a bit too, because it's really managing that creation versus consumption. And if I'm consuming 2 hours, I try to create for 2 hours as well.
Yeah.
And I want to use that consumption, at least knowing that I'm doing it in a way that will inspire me to be a better creator. Right? Whether that creation is as simple as cooking meals, which is a really great creative outlet.
Yeah.
Which I don't do. But I like to inspire myself,
Yeah, you don't have to do it every day, like once a week or twice a week. If you want to cook, that's fine.
My husband cooks. So
That's
yeah,
okay.
I actually don't have to cook. That was probably not the best example, but I'm trying to find a relatable example. But for me, it's productivity, small business hacks, how to navigate things like shipping, how to create systems. Like all of these things are super important to me, and I do follow content creators that promote that type of content. So
Yeah. Awesome. Also, I do make it a point that I do not waste my active or my peak time of my day on Instagram. Whenever I'm in a relaxed mode or when my mind is tired, that's when I take my phone and actually reply to the comments. You don't see me actively doing it during the peak hours of my day as a task. So
yeah, that's a great productivity hack as well. I think if you can identify if you're most productive between 3 to 5, maybe that's a good idea to turn off.
Yeah.
Put your phone away.
Yeah.
That's a really great hack. And I really like the thing you mentioned about engagement, right? Because one of the benefits that I've had from social media as a very micro creator is to have been able to connect to many different creators, both on the artistic side, on the non-artistic side, yourself. And those are things that I did on social media that were actually really beneficial to my business, to my life. And I think, there's a lot of productive ways to be on social media. It's important to be mindful of what those productive ways are, because posting, sharing, interacting with your clients and your audience, those are really productive things to be doing for your business. You should be spending the time doing that. So one last question, Manima, about this mindless scrolling before we move to the next topic. But as we are both entrepreneurs in our own right. Is there a benefit to mindless scrolling? Like, do you think there's anything you've gained through that scrolling process?
To be frank, from a business point of view, I haven't gained anything.
Yeah.
But from a social media trend point of view, to attract audience or to improve the traction for your account and make this trendy reels for your business, maybe, it did help me a bit.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I consciously do go through all the reels that are appearing on my feed just to know what is going on.
Yeah, I actually have had a benefit from scrolling, right? I think basically taking the mindless scrolling and scrolling with a little bit of intent helps, right? Because it's very easy to mindlessly scroll, but if I'm actually scrolling thinking, okay, I want to use this sound, I want to use this trend, I love what this artist is doing, I love what this creator is doing, like those are really important things if you want to grow your business. But I really like the tip to follow the Instagram creators account, so I'm going to be doing that. And it is very the other thing, I think the validation I said was addicting. I think the other thing that can be quite addicting is the analytics.
Oh yes, you're a statistician. By the way.
I am a statistician, and it's very interesting to me to understand actually the data behind these trends, how certain things do better than other things, what time of day is interesting for me, and all of this is just data.
Wow.
So I do find that interesting. Have you had that experience, or
of
am
course.
I the exclusive
No.
nerd over here?
No. Instagram has made it easy. It's pretty clear what and where your account is going, what your audience are, what your demographics are. What is your favorite part of Instagram analytics?
So my favorite part of the analytics, honestly, is to just get to know a little bit about who my audience is.
Yeah.
And I find that fascinating because a year ago, my audience was, 200 of my friends and family. It was really, really, really small, and I knew who everybody was. And as it's growing, it's interesting to see, I have a lot of audience in California and in Texas. And I've been doing a lot more shipments there. And it's just interesting for me to know. I mean, I haven't really gotten into the advertising side yet, but understanding the demographics, I think that kind of is exciting to me. Yeah.
Awesome.
How about you?
I think I love how they provide analytics for each and every post. So which kind of post is doing well, what kind of topic is doing well.
So looking at, the posts that do really well and the posts that do less well, do you ever feel a pressure to create specific types of content or to post at certain intervals?
That's a really great question. So when it comes to content aspect, I think I do what inspire me, and I don't fall for that loop again that, oh my god, today is a new day, I have to create a post, do something, and keep my account going. That's a lot of pressure actually. So I've made peace with it now, I think.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I'm kind of navigating right now. I think one of the challenges as a visual artist is that art takes time. I can't whip up a new painting every week. I can't have, something going on every Tuesdays. Like those things are very difficult for me to do. So I am kind of being authentic because I don't have a choice about what's going on that day or that week in my creative life. And I'm kind of reposting old content and things like that. But it is reading about the algorithms, looking at the data, those are things that definitely get me a little bit like, okay, I have to post at least 4 times this week. I have to post a story at least every day. I need to keep people engaged, and that does, I don't want to say it scares me, but it's something I'm working through to not feel that pressure. And I have been successful in not feeling pressure to create art.
Yes.
And there's a story I was thinking I would share with you. There's a creator I follow, an artist.
Okay.
And she started this thing where every Monday she would post a Monday inspiration artwork.
Okay.
And she was doing digital art, and she would post a new digital art every Monday with an inspirational quote. And she did hundreds of these.
Okay.
And she ended up taking a break from social media, and she came back and she was like, the last 100 of these I didn't want to do. I was just doing it because I felt like my audience expected an Inspiration Monday. So I'm trying to stay away from doing that to myself, like tying my creation to my social media. But I am finding it hard, and like I would love to know how you're able to make that peace and separation. Like, do you actually find that it impacts your engagement, or is your audience still there for you?
It certainly impacts my engagement, but my audience are still there because I'm constantly in touch with them through my stories. So I keep vlogging what I'm doing, where I'm going, and that kind of reminds my audience that I'm still there, but I'm just not posting. I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I'll do only if I'm inspired to do. That's it.
That's really, really important. And I think it's very easy for anything you do, even if you love it, to make it work. Yeah. Like work as in it's actual like extra work that you have to do. It feels like a job. Yes. That shift, it's always there. Like, I'll give you an example, right? I run this art business. I adore it. It's my dream to be a full-time artist, and it's actually feeling like it could be a reality. But there are some things that I have to do as a part of my business that maybe I don't love. Similarly, in my full-time job, there's aspects of my full-time job that I love, the stability. There's so many great things about working for a large organization, but also there's things that I don't love. So I think it's very easy, to lose that balance when you are doing something you are passionate about as a career, to have things you don't love about it. And it's really managing those, right? Minimizing those in a sense. Like even my mom, she's a dance teacher as a career. She loves to dance, always has been dancing. But there are some very challenging aspects of her job. Maybe she has a challenging parent, or a distracted student, or she has to manage her website, which she does not like to do. So there are things that make something you love feel like work. And when you were saying that about your, following those Instagram trends, it takes a lot of effort to, learn a dance move and record a video and post it. And if you're not inspired, it really could feel exhausting.
Yeah, it is. So basically, we are not working every day for it. That's the key, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think we talked about this a little bit in episode 2. If you haven't heard episode 2, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
But we talked about that in our productivity episode, right? When you batch tasks that are like each other, it takes a lot of that work out of it, actually, because you're already in the mindset, you might as well get all of it done at the same time.
Yeah.
And then switch to another task and batch that together.
Yeah.
So the more I think we can do this with social media, the less it feels like a job, and the more we can actually enjoy the benefits. And I think overall, we've talked about some positives and some negatives. I think overall we can both agree that social media has been a complete game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel really grateful to be starting my business and growing my business in a time where there is a thing like social media, where I have the opportunity to connect with people all over the world. And, it didn't exist as early as 20 years ago, 15 years ago. So it's pretty amazing, and it's a journey I'm excited to be on.
I think we've had a great, wonderful discussion about social media. And since we are talking about social media, why don't you all follow us on our respective social media channels? Srinithi at
Shree's Arts
and Monima at It's Maunima.
And while you're following us, don't forget to follow us on all of the different channels where we have our podcast hosted. We are on Spotify, we are on Google Podcast, we are on Apple Podcast, everywhere where you listen to a podcast, and we are also on YouTube. So definitely follow, subscribe, interact with us on YouTube. We would absolutely love to hear from you.
See you in the next episode.
Bye.